What's up, everyone? Look, I try to glean from as many emails as possible what the theme is. And one of the things that I've watched emerge recently is the theme of people who are just absolutely disgruntled with any decision that leaders are making right now. Whether those decisions or whether those leaders are on a local or a state or a national level, wherever they are, I see a lot of anger, and here's why, and I think this is important to understand. Whatever your position is, whatever you like or don't like, will be amplified by the conditions that we're in right now. So when we're in a pressure cooker situation, when there is so much unknown out there about what's going on, that confusion not only causes anxiety, but to be honest, it causes fear. And how do we respond when we experience fear? Well, as I've demonstrated in other videos, it's probably better for us to be angry than trapped in fear. And whether or not it's better, it actually feels better. Now, if we're angry and we can target the leaders at local, state, national levels, now we have an anger target. And here's the challenge that we have when we have an anger target. Whatever decisions leaders make, you're going to be upset with it if you don't like those leaders. And if you do like those leaders, whatever decisions they make, you'll be upset with those who disagree with that. Here's why this is so important. The concept hindsight bias means that after we get an answer to something, we convince ourselves, or more accurately, our egos convince us that we already knew that answer. But the truth is, we didn't know it. We didn't know it until we experienced it. It's why in professional sports they call it Monday morning quarterback. Like once the game is over and you know every outcome, now you can go back and say, well, I would have done this or that. And when we're young, when we're struggling in a tough spot, we tend to really convince ourselves that we absolutely would have done things differently. But that's an illusion created by our egos. So what does any of this mean, and how does this relate to all these different emails? Here's how. I believe that when you're trapped in anger, you're actually trapping yourself in your own hell. You're looking for ways to actually expand on the anger that you have. And when you find leaders, again, at local, state, national levels, wherever it is, when you find them that you don't like, you can zero in on them like a hawk and you can watch for anything that goes differently from how you imagine you might have made that decision. And then you can fill in the blank with all the rest of that anger. Essentially, you're keeping yourself trapped in your own personal hell. And I want to help. I want to help you be free from that. So here is my plan. I believe that if you can take a moment, not just to challenge others, but to challenge your own ego and ask yourself, would I really have done things so vastly differently, or is that kind of a fantasy that I'm creating in my mind? And whereas I think it's great to have these fantasies about how if we were in those positions of leadership, we would have done everything absolutely correctly, the more accurate reality is we, like everyone else, are going to make mistakes. Now, the best we can do is learn from those mistakes. So here's my challenge for you right here and right now this week. Do your best to challenge your own ego. Do your best to challenge the certainties that you feel. Do your best to recognize that, of course, when someone makes a decision, after we have the answer, we can obviously say, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. And here's why this is so important for you to really internalize. If you're sitting there trapped in your own anger, upset with decisions others are making, then you can really keep yourself going in that momentum of anger internally, and that doesn't manifest as a good moment or moments in your life. And ultimately, what I really want to do is help you find peace. One way to find peace is to challenge that ego, challenge that hindsight bias, and then do your best to be easy on others and recognize that every given moment is an opportunity to learn. When we approach the world with that type of humility, things change for us. But maybe even more importantly and pertinently to you, what actually changes is your own level of anger, or maybe more accurately, your own level of peace. And as always, I wish you much peace.